Starting to get a few people joined, so we're just going to kind of hang out until a few more are on. Starting to get a few people joined, so we're just going to kind of hang out until a few more are on. All right, we'll get started. Hey everyone, welcome. It's Leslie from Wall to Wall Vinyl. Tonight we're going to be working on some ornaments. So I absolutely love Christmas time. It is my favorite time of year, and I don't know what I got. I look like a hot mess, so forgive me for that. Anyone that knows me knows how much I love Christmas. Absolutely love it. So every year when I get ready to do my Christmas tree, I like to come up with something new every year. So this year I wanted to do ornaments, and as I got looking at things, there were more and more ornaments that I wanted to do. So I hope you guys get inspired tonight. My goal tonight is just to inspire you to come up with things, and then please post them, because I love to see what you do with the ideas. Just like I watch other groups and other crafters and get ideas from them, I want you to do the same, and I want us to learn and grow together, and you guys will have ideas that I don't have, and it will be awesome to be able to learn from each other. So it is that time of year. I saw a ton of you were up crafting late last night. Let me grab the ornament that I already did. And I too have been up late every night crafting. So this is the first one I did. I have a snowman tree, and every year I try to do something different, but there are literally thousands of things you could do with this. The more I looked at doing it, the more, hi Nikki, and the bow, thanks to Nikki. But the more I started doing it, the more ideas I had, and literally you could do thousands of different things. And I hate to admit it, but I'm somewhat of a fabric whore. I love fabric. And so I have bins full of fabric. So this is a good Good way to use those up. You could also, as an alternative, thanks, Nikki. You could also, as an alternative, sub your own fabric, but it seems like a lot of work when there's such beautiful fabric out there. So tonight we're going to do kind of a farm. I had a customer that really is interested in the farmhouse type thing. So this is a design I did. It will be up shortly. So let me tell you a little bit about this design. I had seen barns that people have made beautiful designs with barns, and of course the epic red truck, but I wanted to make my own. And so literally I've been working on this since July, this barn, because I wanted it to be very rustic and I wanted it to have my own little signature on it. So I created this and finally finished it up. So we're gonna do that. I have a client that is obsessed with red trucks, and so she had asked me to do a couple things for her, and so that's what we're gonna work with today. And then you guys will find that I have a love for buffalo plaid. So we're gonna do black and white because you just don't see it as much in the holidays, and I wanted to do something different. So I'm gonna kind of back you guys up just a little bit. All right, so you're gonna start with your fabric, just a square piece of fabric. For the bigger, the 6-inch ornaments, I just got them on, they're just plain styrofoam balls. I got them on Amazon, but you could probably find them at Hobby Lobby, or I'm finding that Amazon is easy for me, and so that's where I get most of my stuff. But I thought I saw some the other day when I was at Hobby Lobby, so I'm sure you can find them there as well. But for the 6-inch bigger ornament, then I do a fabric piece 22 by 22. And then this is going to be another favorite. It's a favorite of mine, and it will be a favorite of yours, is liquid stitch. I have a sewing machine. I sew okay, but I do like easy, and I like things that don't take as much time, and getting all the machines out and sewing adds that much to it, and time is money, right? So liquid stitch is one of my favorite things. It holds great. I've already put together a ton of these, so I'll show you guys. So like I said, I have a nativity tree and I have a snowman tree, and so these are some of the, I wanted to do a couple different sizes. So these are the small sizes. I haven't decorated them yet, just got them wrapped. But some different things. You can do all different sizes with them. They're pretty easy to do. So let me see. Tell me if you guys can see, move you down so that you can actually see the work surface. All right. So what you're going to do is find the center of your fabric. And so what I do is just put the ball and kind of let it roll into the center. And then even out both sides. And you could use a foam brush if you want. Have a wet rag, like a damp rag, to wipe your fingers on so that you don't spread this everywhere. And then just open it up and lightly coat the ball itself. And then smooth it down. And like I said, you can use a foam brush. It's kind of like finger painting, so I just use my fingers. Hey, can you take him, please? Sorry, I gotta get rid of my dog real quick. He has this habit of thinking he needs to be right alongside of me. Rufus. He's okay. You can just leave him. Sit down, buddy. So I don't know if you guys have met my dog or not. This is Rufus. He's my fur baby. And he's spoiled rotten. But he thinks he has to be right underneath my feet. And what he does is he tries to dig a hole to lay in, I guess, but it's carpet. He doesn't get very far. All right, you guys, so keep going with this, just a little bit on. The thing to remember with this is that you're gonna have to take care of seams, and that's okay. We're gonna make like pleats. So start with one side and just work up. And then you're gonna go to the opposite side. So hold this up again, and then you're gonna work with the opposite side. And bring this side up. And let me know, hi Debbie. Let me know if you're watching. If you are watching live, please remark #live. And if you're watching a rerun, please remark #rerun. It just kind of allows me to see who's watching. And let me know, you guys. Like I said, I had been doing it at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and I'll be honest, that works great for days that I'm off of work, but really hard on the days that I work. And I'd like to make this a habit every Tuesday night. So let me know if the 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time works for you, or if that's a big inconvenience. I will try to accommodate as many of you as I can. Okay, so as you can see, it's nice and tight. And that's what we want. So we've got both the opposite sides now secured down to our styrofoam ball. So now we're gonna go off. So if you see, this is the part that's open. We're actually going to take and move this one up. And the reason we're gonna do that is because we're gonna try to make these, which are gonna be our pleats, as smooth as possible. So let me see. So if you guys can see like this, you can barely see the pleats on it. If I get close though, you can see that there are pleats. So the goal is to try to make those as smooth as possible. I would imagine you guys are getting pretty busy with the holidays. Anybody started to put their Christmas decor up? I do. I start my weeks. I work Thursday through Wednesday of the following week. And so I start my week the day after tomorrow, and then go through the following Wednesday, and then I'm going to put all of my Christmas up. So I had to get my ornaments done in order to do that. All right, so now we've got this side. So if you see, we've got these little tails hanging out, but now we're gonna come on the other side and we're gonna pull it tight. So if you see, here is our opening, and what we want to do is bring this up just as tight as we can. So you can see it's starting to take shape. And again, and I'll put links to what I'm using after. I'll go back and put the links to what I'm using, but this is the best stuff ever. This liquid stitch is a tremendous stuff. Holds great, and then you don't have to use the sewing machine. All right, so I'm just going to go and smooth this side down. And if you do get any residue from this, you know, if your hands are dirty or it wipes off, if you just get a damp rag and lightly rinse it, it will wipe right off, no problem. Okay, so now we've got 4 sides secured. Now we're going to take care of our pleats. So with the pleats, what the goal is to make them as smooth as possible. I have found in doing these, so if you guys start to do these and find something that works better, please let me know. Because like I said, I want this is primarily, it's a design group and a learning group. And, you know, I've been watching Nikki for a little bit now. Those of you that don't know Nikki is the sassy subber. If you haven't joined her group, go join, because she has some tremendous ideas. And one thing that I really, hi Tabitha, thanks for joining, like about her is that she is an excellent teacher and will walk you through just about everything. Like I said, I've always tied bows, but I learned so much of an easier way from her that saves so much time. And like I said before, time is money. So what I have found is that this tends to be the seam that works best. If you can make kind of a pleat like this, and so to do that, what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring it out straight and then flatten it down. So then you're gonna bring that all toward the top. Obviously the top's gonna be the top of your ornament. And you do, like down here, you do have to go back and adjust and just make sure that it's as flat as you possibly can have it. See? And then those work out really well. Then you're going to just lift up the pleat and apply just a little bit of the liquid stitch underneath the pleat. So like I said before, you guys, there is so much fabric. When I was looking in, I was at Hobby Lobby, and I don't know if Joann's is a nationwide, I don't know, but Joann's is a craft store, a fabric store we have around here. And there was so much fabric, so much fun Christmas fabric. And even at Walmart, there was actually quite a bit. All right, so there's our first pleat. And you can see that lays down really nicely. And I thought with the rougher material, the thicker material, it would be harder, but it actually ended up being about the same, if not a little bit easier to get the pleats nice and secure. And then I just continue around the ornament. And sometimes, like this one, stuck together. So I'm just going to go on the inside and just move the pleat itself apart so that I can make that same kind of pleat that I made on the other side. You're going to do that by bringing this to a V and then pulling up. And then you have to, like this side is a little bit wonky, so you kind of just have to mess with it until you get it how you want it before you glue the pleats down. So I just about got it where I want it. And then again, just a little bit of that liquid stitch. And then as we get closer to the top, then we'll continue to secure it down so that there's not big loose lumps in the fabric. And as I was saying before, if you couldn't find any fabric that you like, then you could create your own, you know, buy some digital papers, piece those together, and you could do your own. You could sub your own. And I'll show you, because these, like I was showing earlier, these little patches that are going to go on this one, that's just some polyester fabric I got off of Amazon. So you could do the same thing and sub yourself some fabric if you didn't find what you liked at the fabric store. All right, so some of these, like this one's gonna lay down super nice and I hardly had to do anything with it, but some of them, like that last one, you have to work with a little bit more. But they're pretty easy, you guys. Truly, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And these, when I was looking for ideas, I was flipping through Pinterest, and there were smaller ones, and there was a set of 2, and they were charging $25 for a set of 2. So I feel like there's a good profit margin on these. And if you kind of get an assembly line per se, it would be fairly easy to get these out pretty quickly. So I kind of failed this year, and a friend of mine, a newly found friend of mine, reminded me yesterday that every day you can start again. So next year I'm going to start my Christmas prepping because I really want to have an awesome physical product store shop next Christmas, as well as my digital side. So I'm gonna start prepping very, very early. But this year I didn't do very good at that. It's just been kind of one of those years. So same thing, this one's gonna lay down nice. Sometimes you do have to go and just kind of secure down at the bottom, but this one's behaving itself pretty well. All right, so you guys can see that I'm pretty well at the top now. And then I'm just gonna go around and try to just further kind of thin out that top a little bit so it's not huge. All right, and before I secure the top, what I want you to do is go down in your layers and find, so if you look right there, you can see the styrofoam, and that's where you're going to secure your ornament hanger. So I am just gonna use, I love, love, love jute. So I just use jute. And what I do, and I don't know about you guys, if you guys have ever gotten ornaments that you've bought and you get them and they're way too short. Hi, Lindsay. But I like to keep mine a little bit longer, particularly keep in mind that you're coming through all of that fabric at the top. So you want to make it a little bit longer. So, and then I'm going to tie a knot. And for this, I am using E6000. You guys can get this off Amazon as well. It is incredible. I don't know if any of you, when I was just doing vinyl, I had a few tiles that I had done and we wanted to hang them. And so we used this and hangers, and they're still hanging. It's incredible stuff. And it's pretty inexpensive, and it lasts a long time. So I am going to just apply this to the top of the styrofoam and a pretty big glob of it. And then I'm just going to lay my knot down on top of it and just hold it there for a minute. So I wanted to incorporate, obviously, some sublimation stuff, because that's what we all love to do. And so I decided I could do that in several different ways. So I'm going to give you some ideas of some different things, and then like I said, if you guys decide to do these, please let me know what you come up with. I love to see your ideas. You guys have so much ingenuity, and I love that. Okay, so you can see I've gotten it down to a fairly succinct little center area. And so I'm just going to use jute. The reason I like to use jute on this is because you can pull it so nice and tight and nobody's going to see it. But it works with our theme since we're kind of going with that more rustic, country-ish theme. And then I just literally loop it around twice and then snug it down before I even tie it, because I want to just make sure it's where I want, that it's going to be where a good spot with the hanger. So you can see my hanger is in a good spot. And then just double knot it. So one thing that I am going to do, once I get this secured, is we'll trim off all the excess fabric. So I just tie a double knot. As you can see, that's what I'm left with. And then cut right at the base. So there's my ornament. So now you're going to go through, and everybody has, I'm sure, a different, everybody has a different taste. I kind of like mine to be poofy. I think it's because I have only boys, and so I never got to do the frilly foo-foo thing. But I really like mine to be poofy. And what I found works best is if I bring this, make sure that you tuck your hanger down into the center, and then bring this and kind of cut up in a U, an upside down U. So and then you can kind of trim as needed. And I don't think I want it quite that big because I want it to stick up. So we're going to trim it even a little bit more. So some things I want you to think about with these. I was thinking with this theme, how cute it would be, and I unfortunately didn't have any on hand, but how cute would it be to do like pine boughs, like the frosted pine boughs would be really cute with red berries to go around the top. I mean, there's so many things you can do with these. Just depending if you wanted to make it a little bit more elegant. For instance, I have a little bit more elegant tree, and then I have a little bit more farmhousey primitive tree. And so if you want to make it more elegant, you could use real, like the glittery ribbon. All right, so there's our pom-pom on top. I still am not super happy with right there. There we go, that looks better. All right, so then we're gonna just set that aside for a minute, and we're gonna do the bow. So I need you guys to tell me, because I love buffalo plaid, but do you think that's too much? I'm going to have kind of a red, so I'm going to, on this one, I'm going to do these tags around the top as well that say Merry Christmas. So it adds some color to it, but do you think that's too much? That's the question I want you guys to answer for me. I also thought if you wanted to layer ribbon, I also thought you could do like a thinner red ribbon down the middle, or you wouldn't have to layer it at all. Like this one, I didn't layer it all. Just did the beads and the regular ribbon. So the ribbons, this is the coolest trick that Nikki taught me from one of her tutorials. So find your centerpiece. This is 28 inches long, but you can, make it a little bit longer or shorter depending on what you want. And then there's your centerpiece. And you're gonna make, she said it, the Cancer Awareness ribbon. And you can make your tails as long. What I found on the other one, that if you're gonna do a design, then you don't want your tails super, super long, because then it's gonna impede your design. You could do this with like the tags or something and not have a design on it, just have the, and then you could do a more full with big tails on it. And then you're gonna squish it all together. And again, I'm gonna use jute, but you could use sewing thread, other ribbon if you want. Obviously would have to be a real thin ribbon, but then you're gonna do 3 loops. And then you can kind of play and see if it's where you want it to be. This blew my mind. I think I worked too many years. I worked as a labor and delivery nurse, and we would sit in the nursery at night and tie bows for the babies. And that darn centerpiece was the bane of my existence. I could never get it just how I wanted it. And so this saves you from having to deal with that. So I kind of love this bow idea. So go over it 3 times, and then you're just gonna cinch it down, just drawstring it down, and then you've got your bow, and you can kind of play with it to make it where you want it to be. Kind of hard to do backwards, but that's I kind of like that bow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to do 1 loop through, because what I want to do is get beads and my tags and add those in. So these are just going to come, my idea is that these will just come underneath the bow, and it says Merry Christmas on it. And literally, I got the idea to do the tags like 15 minutes before the live started. So I subbed one side of them. There are tons of tags. I had these around, and I believe I got them from Heat Press Nation, but I know I've gotten some from Single J's before. I'm sure Lindsay, if you're still on, can you shout out if you have tags like these? These are really handy. Also, think about your sublimation ornaments and how cute they would be on these as well. If you just did like a snowflake, or that would be a lot of fun on these as well. So I tied a little loop in it just because I want there to be enough play that you can move these so that you can actually see that you can adjust them to be where you want them to be once you get them attached to the ornament. So then you can adjust them so that they're where you want. And truly, you could leave it like that and just have your element for your sublimation just be the tags themselves, because that I actually really like that. And then let's do some beads on it. So that's an option. The one I did earlier, what I did is I did a patch. So if you look, these patch, I literally Googled polyester fabric on Amazon and bought a ton of it. It was dirt cheap, but it subs beautifully. And then what I would do is go through, I'm a big fan of fraying stuff to make it look a little bit more rustic, a little bit more primitive. So on any patch that I add to this, if you see I've frayed around the edges, but that's an idea. I probably wouldn't do a patch with the tags because I feel like it's just too much. So so there's one idea, and then we'll finish this one as another idea. So I do want to add some beads to this one. Sorry, you guys, I have to hurry and find my other kind of string. Yeah, we'll use this as well. So jute it is. So if you're having a hard time getting this to thread through, you can see there's green, buffalo plaid, regular green, a red, kind of the maroony red. I think I'm going to stick with the red since it goes well with the black. Or you could mix it up and do. So like some of these, you have a little bit of a hard time getting them to thread. So if you just take a little piece of tape and wrap it around the top, then that will keep that end from fraying and make it easier to thread through. And I don't know what I was thinking. I don't want these two patterned ones in a row. So we're going to do a white. Yes, I absolutely can. For the polyester fabric, Lindsay, I sure can. And yes, Lindsay can do the tags, so hit her up. She can cut just about any template. So that's really cool. So I'm just going to put kind of an array of Christmas colored beads on here. And some of these are stuck together. I'm really not liking that red one that's up further up here. Might have to take that one out. Sorry, you guys. Yes, Lindsay, I can do that for sure. All right, let me hurry and just grab, I have another color red that's brighter because I don't like that red at all. So I have a newfound love of beads, you guys. And there are so many on Amazon, and I love them. So I'm going to use some polka dot ones. Let's see how that looks. Alright, and I'll probably just finish out one more green and call it good for this side. And then you just want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So make sure your material, either your knot or your material when it's knotted, is thick enough that your beads aren't going to pull through. All right. So there's my bead. There's one of my beads. Then we'll do one more. And what I did on the other one that worked really well is I'm actually going to come and tie a knot right here and then just start beading the other one, and then we'll just loop it through the knot on our bow, and that will allow it to kind of just hang loosely on the front of the ornament. All right, so we're gonna start with the white on this side, and I really need to get something to put these in so they don't fall all over the table. Okay, you guys, make sure you tune in next week for Talk About It Tuesday. We're going to do Santa cams. Those every year have been such a big seller for me. So I wanted you guys to see, and I had an idea on how to do them a little bit differently than what I've been doing them before. So I need 4 more. Actually, that's not going to work. I really don't like that I can't talk back with you guys while we're doing that. That's the only drawback to this, I think. is I'm a talker, and so just talking myself is not as fun as talking to other people. All right, so there's your little bead toggles. And again, you're gonna wanna double knot this so that you make sure, and just push your knot up, if you can see, push your knot up to the end of your bead. And then double knot it so it doesn't, your beads aren't able to pull through. All right, so there's your little bead. And truly on this one, I'm gonna leave these long, because I think what I would do is tie a little piece of fabric just to make it a little bit more rustic on the end of this, just kind of a little, maybe like that wide, and then just tie it in a knot and fray it so it looks a little bit more farmhousey, rustic. Okay, then you're gonna pick this back up. And what you wanna do is bring this so that it loops over the top, and then we can adjust that in a minute. But then you're just going to tie this, and you can secure this. So I left my tails really long when I tied my bow so that I would be able to secure the beads to it and also the tags to it. But I think this would be so cute. I wish I had thought of it ahead of time and gotten some with the pine boughs, like the frosted pine boughs up through here, and some red berries would be really cute, I think. All right, so then we're gonna just trim our tails down a little bit. Now, because we don't have that design in the middle, we can leave the tails a little bit longer and have them be a little bit more, have a little bit more of a flare, because we don't have that design. If we had the design right there, if we were gonna put that patch right there, then you would want to keep your tails a little bit shorter so it wouldn't impede that. So let me hurry and trim my tails. And I always like to do them in a backward V. Oh, and hey, I wanted to tell you guys, so we are so close to 2,000 members. We are giving away, at 2,000 members, we are giving away, I'm going to do, for those that weren't able to make it for the last live, I will not be doing the monthly design drives after December, because I have found my designs in dump groups, and it's a little bit harder to trace back where they're coming from, because people can hack into drives. It just, it takes too much time to do the designs, like I was saying with the barn design. So those that weren't on there. So this is one I've been working on. The barn I've been working on since July, just because I couldn't get it quite how I wanted it. And then I squirrel and start doing other things. But there's a lot of time that goes into the designs. So, all right, you guys, there's our finished. Something's looking wonky with that side of the bow. So there's our finished ornament. So there's a lot of different things you can do with it. Bring you back up. So I really liked doing the design on it. That was fun, that patch, and I will link the fabric that I used to do the patch. But here's another fun idea that you can do as well to do the tags, and you could do the red truck on the tag. I mean, there are a lot of different things you could do, or I could leave the tags off and do the design on there. So, oh, thanks, Becky. So, let me show you how, if I were not going to do the tags, let me show you. So I'm just gonna push the tags around to the back and then show you how I would secure. So let's say we're gonna just have it like that and we wanna put the red truck design on. So what I would do, sorry you guys, I gotta just fray these out a little bit because I like them to look a little bit more rustic. And this red truck design will be up here within the next couple days. There's a couple things I wanted to tweak on it. So I head back to work, and so I'll be doing a little bit, I tend to do a little bit more of the designing when I'm working because it's just easier to keep up with that than the physical products when I'm working. Oh, but then I squirreled again. So we will be doing a giveaway. Once we hit 2,000 members, Single J's is, and I will announce those tomorrow, what the giveaway details will be. But Single J's will be included in it. Mrs. B's, Elizabeth Bansaf, will be included in it, and Lindsay will be included in it. So it'll be really fun. Big prize to whoever wins. All right, so let's get this on, and then you can always tweak it. And I always like to fray a little bit more once I get it on there. Oh, geez. So I want this to go right between my bow. So this is going to be, so my bow's here, I want it to go right here. So again, liquid stitch is your best friend, and I'm just gonna put one line down the middle. With these, you wanna work from the middle out so that you have less of those pleats like we talked about. So I just put a thin layer and then lay the design down. And the thing I love about the liquid stitch is for a minute you can kind of play around with it. So like for instance, that was down further than I would like it to be, and so I was able to move it up. But then I'm just going to, so I've got my center secured well. And then I do get just a little bit of the liquid stitch and very lightly go over the frayed area so that it stops it from fraying. So it's not continuing to fray into your design as time goes on. So then I'm just moving it from the inside out all the way to the edges. So that's another option. The reason I put my patch on after is because you wouldn't be able to secure it before, because you would have it nice and flat on the fabric. And then as you wrapped your ornament, it would turn into kind of a mess. So you always want to put on your patch after you're done wrapping your ornament. And I like to do it after the bow too, because then you can see placement a little bit better. And then you just continue to work with it until you get all the way out to the edges and it's good and secured. So that's another way you could do it, is do your patch in the middle, and then let's bring our beads back around. That's the other way you could do it. So there's that way, or like we talked about before, you could leave the design off. I guess you could do both, but I think it's a little bit much. But I guess you could do both, but then do the tags that say Merry Christmas on it. So there's that one done. And then like I said, the beads, I'm going to get a little piece of fabric and tie at the end. But I probably would not do, tear it off now, it's gonna look kind of sketch, but for me, I probably wouldn't do both the patch and the tags. I just think it's too much. So we'll leave this one with just, so there's your finished ornament. And then it hangs, find my little hanger, just like that. So there's that one. And there's that one that I did earlier. And I will link everything that I used in here. That I didn't get the fabric, like I said, I have bins of fabric. So, but the best bet is Hobby Lobby, Joann's, even Walmart had some cute fabric. So, but I will link to the polyester fabric that I got off that I do my patches with, and as well as the liquid stitch and the E6000. Those are going to be your friends. And then, like I said, join next Tuesday. We will be doing Santa cams, and I'm really excited about those because there's some really cute ways. We're going to do Santa cams, and we're going to do another snowman ornament that you can improvise to whatever else you want, but it just gives you some more options for your ornaments. I'm going to give this a try. And then, hey, Becky.
Hi there.
How are you? I'm like, I want to see if this really works.
You did.
Good. Sweet. All All right, so you guys know too, I'm going to be starting to do Zooms
Mhm.
because a lot of us are up late crafting, so we might as well get to know each other a little bit better.
Good deal.
So, yeah, it'll be fun. All right, thank you, everybody. Did you have any questions, Becky?
No, thank you, though.
Okay. All right. Thanks, you guys. Have a great night.